Hello students, how are you people? Hope you're all doing good, studying well. So once again welcome back to our biology class. Myself Dr. Raghavendra here. So in the earlier class we were discussing about the chapter biomolecules. So in this chapter we already studied about regarding what we can say the basis of these mainly basic units of these biomolecules, how the proteins are made up of. They are made up of mainly amino acids. Carbohydrates are made up of mainly the glucose or the sugar molecules. Lipids are mainly made up of the fatty acids and glycerol. Well, so nucleic acids are mainly made up of nucleotides. We have discussed all about this. Even we studied about how these mainly biomolecules, yes, we call them as macromolecules as well as biomicromolecules. So the biomolecules which are above what we can say 1000 or 10,000 Daltons, yes, they are called as mainly biomacromolecules, and those which comes under 800 kilodaltons or below the 1000 Daltons, they are called as biomicromolecules. We have discussed. There are lots of similarities between the earth crust as well as the living cell. We have studied also. Well, so we studied about mainly what you can say the primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of the proteins. We studied how actually these carbohydrates are made up of, how they are mainly the hexose are again attached to one another mainly by the glycosidic bond. We have studied, right? So we studied that the pentose or hexose sugars also, yes, we discussed about that. So we discussed even about variety of lipid molecules that includes mainly lecithin, a phospholipid complex. Yes, we have discussed about the glyceride, we have discussed about triglycerides. We also studied about mainly the cholesterol and steroids also, right? So we have studied about the unsaturated fatty acids. Yes, we have discussed fatty acids, we have discussed. So we studied all about these mainly the basic units of biomolecules and structure of biomolecules we have studied. In today's class, yes, under the chapter biomolecules, we need to understand dynamics of the metabolism. Yes, not only that, how metabolism is the basis of life, as well as we will discuss about mainly the living state. So three important definitions and then related concepts, yes, we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss about mainly the dynamics of metabolism, and then we will be studying about yes, one more concept, yes, metabolism, yes, we consider as a basis of life. Other than that, yes, the state of life. So what is mainly the life we call it as? On what basis, yes, we consider all the organisms are living? We are going to discuss all these important mainly the concepts related with what we can say metabolism. Yes. So let us understand now the state of life. So when we talk about mainly, yes, dynamics of metabolism, first we need to know on what basis, yes, the types of living organisms. When we are talking about the dynamics of mainly metabolism, second we are going to discuss metabolism as a basis of life, third the state of life we are going to discuss. So when we talk about overall the living organisms are various. Living organisms, yes, they can be variety of type. That includes, it may be the unicellular organism like bacteria, it may be the protista, it may be the fungi, it may be the plants, it may be the animals. So all these organisms, yes, exhibit, they are living. Why? Because they exhibit the metabolism. They exhibit the metabolism. So we call it as a common phenomena that occurs in all these organisms. What it is? Metabolism. So when we keep on talking about, yes, regarding the metabolism, so the basic, what we can say mainly, the definition as such when you talk about metabolism. Let me give you the basic definition of metabolism. So, metabolism, we can say that metabolism is mainly the sum of, it is the sum or total of all catabolic and anabolic reactions in the living organism. In the living organism, yes. So a organism we say living, why? Because it exhibit basically, yes, all the variety of metabolic activities. Yes, let it be exchange of gases or respiration, let it be digestion, excretion, circulation, okay, neural control, coordination, hormonal regulation, variety of, yes. They will also exhibit the growth, reproduction, tissue damage and its reparative mechanism. All these are the basic activities. How it is possible? Yes, until unless inside the cell there is a metabolism is happening, then only all these metabolic activities can happen. So we say that metabolism is the sum or total of two important activities. What it is called as catabolic as well as anabolic activities. So when we say what are the catabolic activities, let me tell you. Catabolism. What is this catabolism? Catabolism is also called as breaking up mechanism. Breaking up. Anabolism. Anabolism, yes, we call it as making up. So breaking up and making up keep on happening every now and then alternatively in a living cell. So a cell exhibits a variety of, yes, cell exhibits, mainly we can say exhibits thousands of, yes, we can say thousands of metabolic activities. Metabolic activities. Cell exhibits thousands of metabolic activities. That includes catabolism also, that includes anabolism also, and these metabolic activities are what? Basically due to, yes, metabolic activities mainly to balance biomolecules. Biomolecules means biomolecules are the basis for all the living organisms. Yes. So biomolecules mainly to balance, their concentration has to be balanced, otherwise imbalanced condition lead to death of the cell. That's why cell exhibits thousands of metabolic activities to balance the biomolecules. So thus balancing these biomolecules leads to what we call as homeostasis. Homeostasis. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis refers to maintaining the optimum conditions, okay, maintenance of optimum conditions, optimum or tolerable conditions inside the body, that is called as mainly homeostasis. So when we are talking about, yes, biomolecules are very, very essential. Biomolecules are the part of biological organization. Let me tell you how. So in a biological organization, when we talk about the biological organization, yes, in a biological organization, all what we are talking here, it's all about the dynamics of the metabolism. So when you talk about, yes, in a biological organism, what is the role of biomolecules, you may ask. So let me tell you, biomolecules are the most important components. Biomolecules, what they are basically, they can be proteins, they can be carbohydrates, they can be lipids, they can be nucleic acids. Okay, these are the biomolecules. What they do? Biomolecules mainly form cell organelles. Cell organelles. These cell organelles mainly construct the cells. Variety of cells, they form the tissues. Tissues forms the organs, and organs form the organ systems. Organ systems. And different organ systems, they form the whole organism. This is what we say. In a living organism, biological organization, it's all because of biomolecules. And balancing of the biomolecules, it is because of what we say homeostasis. And why this homeostasis happens? Yes, homeostasis occurs because of mainly to maintain the optimum condition. And all biochemical activities, yes, all biochemical, okay, biochemical activities mainly regulated by or carried out by, we call them as the most important molecules, enzymes. Enzymes are basically proteins, but they catalyze most important biochemical activities. Okay, so thus when we say it is the dynamics of the metabolism that is very essential for the living. Metabolism refers to be the sum of or total of catabolism as well as anabolism. Catabolism is a breaking up mechanism, mainly anabolism is a making up mechanism. We will discuss in detail about that. So cell exhibits the thousands of metabolic activities. Yes, a cell every now and then has to continue various kind of carry out various kind of metabolic activities. They may be, it may be the Krebs cycle, it may be electron transport system, it may be the what you can say that ornithine cycle in the liver cells, or it may be the what you can say mainly glycolysis. Many of metabolic pathways or cyclic pathways will be there. So cell have to do all that, and it has to balance the biomolecules also, and that balancing mechanism we say homeostasis, maintenance of the optimum conditions to the tolerable range, so that different kind of biomolecules have different kind of concentration in the cell. It has to balance. And then biomolecules are of various types. Yes, among them well known are the proteins. The proteins are basically made up of amino acids. So we will discuss how actually they do that. Then carbohydrates, yes, basically made up of the sugars. Lipids, fatty acids, they are made up of. Nucleic acids, they are mainly made up of the nucleotides, we say. So cell organelles mainly, how they are constructed or formed. Cell organelles are formed because of the presence of biomolecules. Yes, biomolecules are very essential and important to bring up the life. So without biomolecules, yes, there is no origin of life, there is no carryover of the life, there is no survival of the life. So biomolecules, they form the cells, cells form the tissues, tissue forms the organs, organs form the organ system, then organ systems together they form the whole organism. Yes, this is what we say the biological organization. Further, organisms, they are going to form the population, we can say population may form the communities, communities may form the ecosystems, biomes, like this whole biosphere. So the entire existence of the biosphere or the organisms, it's all depend on the biomolecules and mainly the metabolism. That is what we say the dynamics of the metabolism. Let us understand mainly the few examples for the anabolism as well as catabolism and how they actually manage all this. So to say that mainly few important, yes, we can say that few important reactions are the typical examples of anabolism as well as catabolism. To say that, yes, typical example, let us understand. When I talk about here, the metabolism is, so metabolism equals to catabolism plus anabolism. Anabolism, yes. So when I talk about respiration, yes, for catabolism best example is respiration. So during respiration, what happens? Let me mention a simple reaction here. So 6O2 plus C6H12O6. Further, the glucose molecule is broken into 6CO2 plus 6H2O. So the glucose is broken. Okay, that's why it is called as a catabolic reaction or catabolism. So now when we talk about one more example, yes, anabolism. Yes, anabolism, to say, yes, simple example for this anabolism is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. How photosynthesis can be anabolism? Let me tell you. 6CO2 plus 6H2O, that gives us C6H12O6 plus 6H2O, means they are going to form, plants are going to form in the presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. They utilize the carbon dioxide, they utilize the water, and they form the glucose. Okay, so here it is the making of reaction. So that's why we say it is anabolism. Again, one more simple example. Glucose plus glucose, it forms mainly glycogen. This occurs in the liver. Okay, glycogenesis we call it as. This is also an anabolic reaction because simple molecules like glucose and glucose is combining and forming the glycogen. So we call it as the glycogenesis in the liver. In liver. This is what we say mainly the anabolic reactions. So like this, there are thousands of reactions keep on happening inside the living cell, and it keep on happening just to balance what is we call as to maintain the optimum condition or for the homeostasis. So this is all what we say the dynamics of metabolism. To say some more about the metabolism or its dynamics, as such we call it as mainly. So in the living cell, yes, in the living cell, lots of these what we can say biomolecules as such we find, and how they are mainly made up of. Yes, they are made up of simple, okay, components of the units. So yes, as such biomolecules, yes, it can be catabolism or anabolism, or yes, metabolism we say, metabolism. And then what the biomolecules are made up of? Metabolites. Metabolites are the units, basic units we can say. So when we talk about the proteins, yes, proteins either they can be broken up or they can be made into complex protein again by the presence of amino acids. Okay, how the amino acids are linked with one another? They are linked by what you can say the peptide bonds. Okay, so they form the, yes, polypeptide chains. So proteins are made up of, we can say, amino acid 1, amino acid 2, amino acid 3, amino acid 4, amino acid 5. Like this the chain keep on growing, and we call it as these are the peptide bonds. Peptide bonds. Okay, and this entire chain we call the polypeptide chain. Means proteins are made up of polypeptide chain. This is the dynamics of metabolism. Similarly, when you say carbohydrates, what they are basically made up of? Carbohydrates are made up of glucose. Yes. So they are made up of glucose molecules. Well, now here one more important thing is I have to tell you what it is. The next one is basically lipids. So lipids are what basically? Yes, to say lipids. Basically, either they can be broken up or they can be further made mainly by the fatty acids. Okay, so fatty acids, and then yes. So here, let me tell you one more important thing. Okay. So the other important thing is nucleic acids. How the nucleic acids are made up of? Nucleic acids can be broken up or they can be joined, mainly to either separate or to join these units. Nucleic acids mainly made up of nucleotides. So all these metabolic activities will happen only in the presence of enzymes. Enzymes are most important biocatalyst that can carry over all these biochemical reactions. Now one more important thing is we need to know. What is that? So basically when we say biomolecules or dynamics of the metabolism. So dynamics of the metabolism, it's all due to the presence of enzymes. So metabolism is the coordinated and well regulated biochemical reactions. Okay, catalyzed by enzymes. Well, so enzymes are very essential and important to catalyze various type of biochemical reactions. So overall, when we say metabolism is the coordinated and well regulated, okay, biochemical reactions which are catalyzed by the enzymes. Now when we say these are the enzymes, yes, very essential and important. So how they do that? So mainly the biochemical reactions, thus there will be no metabolic trafficking, or mishap, which will never happen. Yes. So imagine there are mainly 8 tracks. Okay, the roads are 8. 4 lane is coming, 4 lane is going. Okay, so there is vehicles keep on going continuously, but there will be no any accident. Okay, it will never happen until unless it is well regulated by the signboards or the signals or by the traffic police. Okay, so in such a condition there is no any traffic rules violated. Yes, even though thousands of vehicles keep on going and coming, there will be no any kind of accident. Why? Because it is well regulated, well controlled. Similarly in our body also, in every cell thousands of metabolic activities are happening. There will be never any kind of errors or any kind of mistakes. No metabolic trafficking, no accumulation of the molecules unnecessarily, until unless there is a failure of the enzymes. Until unless enzymes are there very actively, there will be definitely properly well regulated, what we can say, metabolic activities will be keep on happening. This is what we call it as a dynamic state of metabolism. Yes. So thus dynamic state of, thus we can say the overall metabolism is the dynamic state of cell activity. Okay, so thus this is all about what we have discussed the dynamic state of metabolism. We need to understand one more important concept as such. So metabolism is the basis of living. Yes, we have to discuss that also. Let us go ahead now. So when we say metabolism is definitely what we can say, it is the mainly basis of life. How the metabolism mainly regulating what we can say the life activities. Let us understand that also. So let us understand mainly the dynamic state. Yes. So let us understand one more important concept, metabolism as the basis of living. So we will discuss that also. When we say metabolism is the sum of anabolic and catabolic reaction, definitely enzymes play important role in converting these compounds from complex form to the simple or simple form to the complex form. Yes. So enzymes have very important role in the homeostasis or balancing the biomolecules levels inside the body, all that. So let us understand now the concept what it is. Yes, metabolism as the basis of life. Metabolism as a basis of life. So metabolism is what? Mainly metabolism is the sum of what we can say, it is the catabolism and it is anabolism also. So for the catabolism, simple example, let me tell you, glucose is broken into lactic acid in muscles, okay, in forms in the muscles. So this is what we say catabolism. Glucose is broken into lactic acid. So it's a kind of anaerobic mechanism. Anaerobic mechanism. When there is a shortage of oxygen, when we do lots of exercise in the gym, so that time we will have shortage of oxygen, but in our muscles there is a formation of what we can say lactic acid. When lactic acid mainly occurs or it produces too much and accumulates in the muscles, it gives a kind of burning sensation or pain. Well, so catabolism is one example. Now anabolism, let me tell you, yes, glucose plus glucose is going to form the glycogen mainly in the liver. So this is anabolism. Metabolism is mainly the total of two kind of reactions, catabolism as well as anabolism. Well, so this is all what we need to understand and discuss. Well, so here anabolism actually is the process of energy consuming. So energy consuming happens at the time of anabolism, but catabolism is mainly energy releasing. So what actually the energy released when glucose is broken, glycolysis we say, yes, lots of ATP molecules, energy releasing in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So ATP is mainly adenosine triphosphate, is also called as energy currency of the cell. So when I talk about mainly ATP as such, yes, you are observing here mainly the ATP, what you are observing there. So here you are observing mainly the ATP as such. So energy currency of the cell. So now ATP mainly the energy in the biomolecules stored in the form of bonds between, okay, the chemical compounds. Thus, so ATP basically adenosine triphosphate, which is very much extensively utilized at the variety of metabolic, mainly what we can say the mainly metabolic pathways. So it is also called as energy currency of the cell, which is utilized during metabolic pathways. Yes, this is all about what we say metabolism as the basis of living, which means metabolism has anabolic as catabolic reactions. These reactions keep on happening mainly to release the energy. So energy always in the form of ATP, and ATP is called as energy currency of the cell. Well, so energy is stored in the cell in the form of mainly the chemical bonds between the biomolecules. That's all for today's class. In the next class, we will discuss about some more important concepts. Till then, take care, study well. Thank you very much.